Ed Clancy, how the devil are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Phil. Here we are on the other side. You talk about the other side like it's some sort of afterlife, and yeah, I'm good, mate. It does feel a bit weird though. Like there's, like as soon as you get out of bed in the morning, the first thing you think about is like, oh, how do my legs feel? And then it's like, what am I gonna have for breakfast? And they're two simple things, but they both involve a bit of thought in terms of like life as a cyclist. What you have for breakfast don't matter anymore, and how your legs feel, I couldn't care less. So it's strange, everything you do. And even I got on my bike just to ride down to the bottom of the hill today to meet the boys that are riding back from the track. And just by habit, you put on your heart rate monitor and your computer on your bike to record the data. And I was like, I don't need to do this. So it was bizarre, and a lot of things feel strange. And I'm always catching myself thinking, oh, my legs feeling here, or my glutes tight, or does that calf feel a bit sore? And doesn't matter, and I don't care. It feels strange, but good.
That's the habit though of just being, you've been at the top end for so long, mate. But that's just the habit. That's the habitual behaviors that you needed to stay at the top for so long.
Yeah, they're so inbuilt. Those little things like the bike computer and that. It's just, yeah, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just doing it. I'm getting a bottle of water ready. I made 1.5 liters of water to go on my bike, just in case you came back a bit dehydrated. And I was like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. You just have a drink when you get back. So yeah, I guess those inbuilt the habits. They say that champions and so on. It's about the habits they create, and it's the people that stick to those habits go on to do things. But as some of them, they just don't even think about anymore, and you don't even realize you're doing them until you stop.
Yeah, because I know consistency is so important. But I suppose some of the people that may be watching this on YouTube or other channels that are maybe not up to speed with what's going on, I'll present it from my view, if you like, what's happened. So not only are you at your 4th consecutive Olympics, which is, a 14, 15, 16-year career, you were there going for your 4th consecutive gold. We've had the challenges of COVID with the Olympics being postponed for 12 months, and you've had all this sort of preparation, or do I go for another year or not? Have I got it? Right, I'm committed, and you went for it, and you've given up so much for the cause for so long that going out to Tokyo, you were in great shape, everything was going well, and then the news this end is on that first qualifying race, it just didn't quite happen for you. What's the background there, mate? Because the conversation, I suppose, could be around the disappointment, the learnings, whatever, but what is it that we don't know? What's been happening in your world?
Well, I think if you see the results, so today is Friday, and I'm not sure whether this will be aired, but by now, like Wolsey's just won a gold medal in the Omnium. Laura and Katie have just won a gold medal in the Madison, and there's been a silver in the women's team pursuit. And anyway, the team's starting to do really, really well, and we're all thinking there's going to be more medals come in over the next couple of days. And when we were in Newport, we've been here before. We know what it takes to win the Olympics. We were doing what we believed to be right, in terms of training and the aero stuff and the strategy and the lineup and everything. And we were in a good place. We set a personal best in Newport. The air pressure was particularly high, which coincided with the great weather we had for those couple of weeks. And, we did say there's no secrets now, a 3:47.2 in pretty bad conditions. On a track like that would translate to the best ride we've done this month. So the long and short of it is we came out here, and as a team, we just didn't have 4 riders on top form on the day. And, with the tolerances in team pursuit now are really tight. And the other teams got it right. We've made it look easy in the past. We've always turned up, and we've always had 4 guys on top form, and we rattle around there, and we've been lucky enough to be that team for the last 3 occasions. But this time it wasn't to be. And to be honest, I was the weak link in qualifying, and I just got off the plane, and I'm not sure if I just didn't quite nail the jet lag initially, but for whatever reason, perhaps we pushed things a little bit too hard and just didn't quite have the time to freshen up. But we were okay. We got 4th in qualifying. We weren't too far off it, but you know, not too long after that, you know, I've been having problems with my back as well since we've been here, and I knew that we needed to make a change in the team if we were going to have a chance of that gold silver final. And you know, unfortunately, that came at the expense of me getting a ride in the semi-final and final. We had to substitute in a rider as a sort of, you know, as it would take me out as an injured rider and put in our P accredited rider. No idea what the P for in P accreditation stands for, by the way, but we put them in, and we essentially got a 5-man team. So yeah, I do still believe that was our best chance of, you know, stepping up and getting a medal. We had to try something, because the way we were, we had nothing to lose at that point. You know, we're the Great Britain cycling team, and we came here for a medal, and outside of that, we weren't too interested. So it was worth taking a gamble. We took it. It didn't pay off, and that was the end of my career there and then.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, just hanging on to those last words, the end of your, certainly your Olympic career. What's the emotional roller coaster been like the last 4 days? Because you're right, it's Friday here in the UK. Granted, we're a bit behind you, but it was only Monday you were qualifying, and here we are 4 days later. What's that 4 days been like for you on a sort of an emotional level?
Well, you know, initially I was disappointed. You know, I was open and honest with my feedback to the boys and the coaches and everything since I was here, and as I always have been. And you know, when it came to sort of like deciding what we're going to do in the next round, I kind of knew what needed to be done, you know. And really at that point, I had 2 options. I could kind of dig my heels and say, yeah, I'm going to be better tomorrow, and I think we can step up as a team. Or, you know, we're not too far off the Danish year. I reckon we can have them. But I was like, yeah, I don't want to go out like that. And I did what was right. And as much as I'm proud of that, it was painful at the time, you know. That was the last time I was going to ride a bike for the Great Britain cycling team. And, you know, the last 5 years have been going to that point. And, you know, I really wanted to come away fighting in the final for a gold medal and setting a world record and high-fiving the crowd like we have done before. You know, that's what you dream about. But you know what? That was sort of day one, and I announced my retirement to the press. And as soon as I did that, you know, it was kind of an emotional thing. But I was like, hey, you know what? It's all right. And, you know, I tell you what, 4 days later, I don't regret going for it one bit. Like, not at all. You know, anything I've ever done in my life, you know, be it putting yourself forward for Olympic selection, you know, messaging the girl on your phone which you fancied, starting a cycling academy, all of those things have taken a risk, you know, and you've got to stick your neck out, you know, and sometimes, you know, put yourself in a potential situation where you're going to be rejected, where you're going to be ridiculed, you know, where you're just out and out going to cock it up. But you've got to take that chance. And looking back, I'd do it all over again. You know, I think I had no intention of settling for 3 Olympic gold medals. I wanted 4. And yeah, sod it. I'm happy that I took the decision to crack on. I'm happy 12 months ago when we spoke about what I was going to do in my life, should I call early retirement in 2020, like you said, or we're going to see it out in 2021. And I'm proud that we continued. I'm glad that we cracked on. And I honestly believe I'm leaving British cycling in a better place for that, you know. And whilst the team pursuit hasn't quite gone to plan, young Wolsey's just gone off and won a gold medal, and I've got Ethan Hayter, my roommate next door, and he's up for the Madison tomorrow. So watch this space. And yeah, in terms of you look back, you get a bit like nostalgic, and you start thinking about where it all started, and you know, the journey you've been on, and the highs and the lows you've had, and yeah, I guess that brings us to today. So I've gone through that sort of roller coaster there, and here we are. I feel like I'm in a great place, and I feel like I've done the right thing. I've made the right decisions, and yeah, looking back, I wouldn't have changed it for the world.
It's very rare, Ed, that, you know, doing the right thing is the easy thing, because they're 2 separate things, aren't they? You know, doing the easy thing would have been, right, I've sacrificed another 5 years of my life. Yeah, I might be riding at 95%. I'll just grimace a little bit. I'll bite down on my gums a little bit longer, and I'll go and dig it out. But, you know, the right thing is, guys, we're probably not going to go much quicker than that with me on board in my current state. I'm sure, no doubt, you lost a bit of top end power as well, you know, especially when it comes to your back, that having the leadership skills to say, I'm not best placed to do this, so I need to take a step back. Is well, it's a true reflection of the person you are, Ed.
Yeah, it's also a reflection of the guys around me, and you know, I love those boys, and I love Charlie Tanfield. So Charlie, for the sake of people that want to follow this, is he's been my roommate, on all the road camps and stuff. Well, most of them anyway, 99% of them, and the track World Cups. I always get paired up with Charlie, and I guess he's almost become like a little brother type figure, for the last few years, and then Charlie's like been on the old journey with me, and then to sit in the meeting and sort of say, you know what, I'm going to pretend everything's all right and I'm going to be better tomorrow. When he didn't get selected for the final 4 riders, and that guy, he never complained, he never had a bad word to say about me or anybody else or life being unfair or all of that. He came out here under the assumption he wasn't going to get a ride. He was going to watch all his mates, colleagues, go ride the Olympics right in front of his nose, and come back with a medal and rub it in his face. And he never had a bad word to say about any of that. And there's no way I was going to sit in a team meeting, and look him in the eye and say, you know what, I'm going to ride my bike tomorrow and take that opportunity away from you to ride your first Olympics. That boy deserved a chance, and more than I did. So yeah, it is a reflection of the people around me as well.
The overall experience, I mean, even for people that don't follow cycling, it was such a dramatic 24, 48 hours. So being in amongst that whirlwind of, obviously there was kit failure for the Aussies, the next, obviously your journey and experience. Then there was the Danes crashing into Charlie. It was like so much going on in 24 hours. It must have been nuts. What was it like being in amongst it?
It was just carnage. Honestly, I've seen a lot of team pursuits over the years, World Cups, World Championships, everything. And yeah, man, just when you think you've seen it all, you're watching the Danish team come thundering down the home straight and crash into the back of Charlie Tanfield. And yeah, I've never seen anything like it. So many crashes, and the New Zealand lads had a crash in there, gold, silver final. They were on for a bronze medal until the last lap. And the Dane, there was so much drama off the bike as well. Aerodynamics. There was guys, putting physio tape up the shins, and there was, I only found this out after the event, but there was people from the aero team, the R&I team, from not just our team, the Australian team, the Danish team, the Italian team, having meetings until I wouldn't even say in the early hours of the morning, right through the night until daybreak, about how it's okay or not okay to interpret these rules we've got. And you see that a lot in Formula One, and I've said it a long time, this game's become an arms race as much as it is a physiological athlete thing. And it's moved on so much in the last 18 months. We've not seen anything, we haven't done any races, and it's been the same for all the teams and the engineers. And obviously there was a battle going on the track, and there was definitely a battle going on off the track this time. So that it's been kind of interesting to hear the rumors and the stories coming out about that post event as well.
Yeah, it was all over the media. As you can imagine, they were jumping on it and going, whether it was the tape or the under jersey shirts, and it was fascinating to watch. And it just goes to show though how competitive it is. When you're having to get into that finer detail. And let's be honest, it's you guys and the 16 years you've been involved with Geraint, Brad, and all the other, scientists involved. You've raised the bar, and it's just that everybody's caught up and kicked on, and they've got that extra bit of momentum, I think, now. But it's because of you guys. They're going so quick. It's because of you guys that, Filippo Ganna's sitting on the front and tugging around for 2.5 laps and setting a new world record. It's just game changer, isn't it?
I really think so. I really think that that's perhaps the reason that the timed events especially have just gone absolutely crazy. The girls experience the same thing in their team pursuit. And, I think because Great Britain, I'd love to take all the credit myself, but the Great Britain cycling team was so, they were smart, with this whole marginal gains philosophy, and they applied that, to our nutrition and training and, camps, nutrition. And then we also brought that to the technical side of it as well. And we turned up in Beijing with a rubber skin suit, and we had different ball bearings, different tires to everyone else, different wax on our chain. And, that's a long, long time ago now. And it's taken people a long, long time to kind of, I don't know, twig onto it, because we were pretty good at keeping it a secret. And, it took a long time for that technology to get out there, and B, for people to actually put it in practice. It's easy for people to say, oh, great, well, we need them bikes, we need those wheels. But, when people are tied down into contracts that last, the next 4 or 5 years of the Olympic cycle, it's, they can't do a U-turn like a London taxi. So, we kept that advantage for a long time. But right now, everyone's privy to it, and there's a big arms race.
Yeah, for sure. Bringing the conversation back to you, Ed, as a person. Obviously, we've been in touch throughout, and we've been messaging back and forth this week since Monday. Have you been aware of sort of the show of affection and love for you on social media? I know you're not a massive fan of social media anyway, but the response has been unreal.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of social media this week, to be honest. Yeah. It has been nice. It's a strange thing to comment on when you're talking about yourself, but
yeah,
it's really nice. And it's so many. My phone. I've won Olympic gold medals in my home country before, and I've had less messages. On social media, personal messages, phone calls, and I haven't got through like half of them. I've been, when I've been sat on the bus going to the track, I've been replying on my phone. I wake up early in the morning, I'll sit there and go through my phone for 2 or 3 hours, and we're not through half of it. And that's great, and everyone's had a nice word to say. I haven't seen any negative feedback just yet, so it's good to know I've done something right, and it means the world to me, when everyone's reached out, whether I know them or not, and it's always been I guess a thread, along the whole journey. It's always meant a lot to me, and I've never always understood it. When people pat me on the back in the supermarket and say, "Oh, well done," it's really cheered me up. Or someone comes to you at a bike race and asks for an autograph. I never see myself as anything other than another person. And to answer your question, it's been nice, mate. Yeah,
it's good. And I was reading through some of the comments. It might have been obviously Geraint, Bradley, and Mark Cavendish and all that have all put lovely posts out, and I know you've been through thick and thin together, you guys, from the start, and you're really thick friends. But I was reading some of the comments on their followers, and there was one guy who was saying that, I live in Holmfirth, and I didn't say I caught. I was riding with Ed one day, or you must have caught him up, obviously, and you just started chatting to him. And he said, every time now, because you spoke to him that once, every time he drives past you, he's beeping you on. He said, I hope he doesn't think I'm being rude. I'm just saying, it's Ed, my mate, because I've ridden with him once. And I thought it was such a great example of the impact and the influence you are and the person you are, because all the athletes you've sort of been teammates with speak so highly of you, and you've always got time, you're approachable, you're down to earth, there's no ego. And I think because of that, Ed, you've flown under the radar, deliberately for the last 15, 16 years. Keep your head down a little bit. But I do truly hope that, coming off the back end of it, it's your time to fly maybe in other areas now, because there are some great opportunities for you, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, first on the guy in Holmfirth, let's hope he wasn't looking in his rear view mirror, because I probably had my middle finger in the air behind him. But on that, there's certain sort of character trait or personality traits, let's say, that make someone a sports star. And I think I've had I've had the discipline, and I've really engaged in sort of the human performance side of things and psychology and all that. And I've always had a fascination with the technical side of it, machines and stuff as well. And I think those sort of traits have made me a great cyclist, and that's perhaps why I've had a good, remotely successful career. But outside of that, I've never really been interested, in the social media side of things, or sort of jumping in front of cameras and putting myself out there in a big way. So I think like anything in life, it's just the consequences of how you've behaved. But I guess nothing I regret. But and then moving on to the afterlife, I feel like I'm in a great place, and I'm looking forward to the future. I think, setting up the cycling academy with my mate Graham is going to be something that's going to hopefully take up a lot of my time, and I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about cycling and not just the racing side of it. You know, I love riding my mountain bike and getting stuck in, and I love it when I see people commuting to work and getting out of the cars. And yeah, as you know, yeah, I've loved working with you over the last 5 or 6 years, and you know, I fully believe in getting your mind straight and, you know, the difference it can make. And you know, when I speak to the younger guys and people talk about me sort of bringing the group on, you know, there's nothing I can tell them in terms of sports science or, you know, physiology or aerodynamics or anything like that. You know, there's much better educated people in the building that I am on those points. But you know, what I do bring to them and what I am passionate about is sort of getting their head right and, you know, being in the right state of mind. You know, when you step up to the Olympic final, when you're 20 years old, like young Ethan Vernon's done, I know I've been there, you know, without the sort of help before I met you. And, you know, I feel so much better doing that now, knowing what I know. And, you know, when I was at his age, I wish I had someone like you to kind of guide me through these things. And so I'm trying to play that role for him a little bit. And, you know, when Charlie Tanfield steps into the team, you know, he's a young guy as well, 23 years old, and he couldn't have been less prepared for it, you know, in some ways, in a sort of technical manner, you know, in terms of riding efforts with the boys. And so I'd try and prepare those guys mentally, you know, and get them in the right mindset. And I try and do that as best I can because I believe in its importance, you know. And there's no doubt, it's not even opinion anymore. It's fact that happy bike riders are fast bike riders. You know, when they're sat here in the rooms and they're stressing and they got sweaty palms, and, you know, I'm not going to lie, we all worry about it. You know, even when you're a 36-year-old man, we want to do our best. But I just believe in it. And if those guys are sat here and they're chilled out and they're sort of pumped and ready to go and excited, rather than kind of fearful and fretting and thinking about the consequences and the afterlife, and, you know, that's what I try and do for them.
Yeah, man, there's nobody better than you, Ed, to be doing that because you've been there. You know, you've been there, seen it. You've spent a lot of time learning and understanding yourself better. And I think having that ability to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, knowing the way you're going to respond to certain situations, and you can spot and go, here we go. You know, my mind's going this direction. I've now got some coping strategies to bring that back, because that's just going to mean I'm going to be physically and emotionally tired if I keep following that train of thought. And I think there's a lot of crossover. I've got, well, actually, I could just reframe it and I'll take my conversation with myself this way. It makes a big difference, doesn't it? And I think that's why I'm excited. I'm excited about your own learning moving forward, because you've got such a rich history and a rich experience to pull upon, that when we take it to the next level, mate, you're going to be so impactful, and everybody you touch, everybody you have contact with, it'll be amazing.
Good. I'm sincerely looking forward to that. And on just what you're saying there, you know, when you're sat in a room, like, you know, in the little bubble around with the boys and that, you know, it only takes a small sort of seed of doubt in one of their minds. And, you know, even in my mind, you know, when you're in this environment, it's that thought just keeps running away, and like it just snowballs in your mind. And it's like you said, it's like having that self-awareness to say, you know what, I know why this is happening. I know why my brain works in this way. And, you know, you've got like an action plan, if you like, to kind of change things. But I am sincerely looking forward to the future and, you know, working more in this area.
Yeah, rightly so. And there's more to come on that. There's already work afoot on that, Ed, for us to have a chat over a coffee or a beer when you're back. So I'll bring you up to speed on what we're doing. From us, Ed, you know, and I said this in a text to you this week, that, you know, as a sponsor, and we have been a sponsor for 5 or 6 years now, we couldn't be prouder of you. The way in which you've conducted yourself, as always, is you know, a credit to yourself, a credit to GB, British Cycling, and certainly to us at Pro Noctis. But as a mate, unbelievable, mate, you know, and I'm looking back, 3 times gold medalist. You know, you think about some people that get to 1 Olympics and it's amazing. You've got to 4 and you've won 3 of them. You've done all right.
Yeah, cheers, pal. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you, Phil. And you know, obviously, thanks for your help along the journey as well. And you know, I can't do it without you guys that have got my back. And yeah, like I said, I've had an amazing run. I'm so grateful to so many people, and you guys at Pro Noctis have been part of this journey. So thanks for your help too.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next chapter, buddy. Well, have a safe trip back. I think it's Sunday you're flying back. Enjoy your last 48 hours or so in Tokyo as best you can, and look forward to hearing all the stories about what it's been like at an Olympic Games during COVID. And I think that'll be another video.
Yeah. You know what? This is the first time I've actually stayed. I've usually just done my event and gone home and gone on to the next thing, but this time I'm seeing it out. I'll be there at the closing ceremony, and I'm trying to do it properly. But yeah, looking forward to getting on. Thanks,
big smile on your face, mate, and we'll see you soon. All right.
See you soon.
Take
Cheers,
care,
man.
bud. Bye.